I got started on my journey with the Get a Fresh Start page around 4 years ago now. I was a very, very unwell 20-year-old back then, and I spent a lot of time in hospital. I was under 40 kilograms, I had a shaved head, cystic acne, and I was deeply unhappy and very, very unwell. I was developing an autoimmune disorder, and I would be hospitalised regularly for vomiting bugs and all kinds of things. I had terrible gut health. I could only eat 10 foods, and I was reacting to pretty much everything in my environment, including household and personal care products, as well as foods, as well as everything in my environment. And the real trigger for me was continuously being told that food had nothing to do with my symptoms, and that my symptoms were actually in my head, and I was basically a crazy person. And that was seeing a number of doctors and a number of specialists and dietitians and being in hospital. So it was pretty much across the board, and it was like, have some sleeping pills and some antidepressants and go away. So I started doing my own research, and I found I really got into the food side of things, and I started actually eating real food instead of having a chocolate chip muffin for breakfast, McDonald's for lunch, and me goring, MSG-filled 2-minute noodles for dinner, and then drinking for 3 or 4 days every weekend. That's not really out of the ordinary for young people my age, but because I'd had a childhood full of illness, it really affected me very negatively. My solution at that time was to start heavily doing my own research. I got really into the Weston A. Price Foundation and their information around healthy fats, organic or naturally raised meats, proper vegetables and fruits, which was something very foreign to my diet, and basically fresh water. And just stuff that, it's not really complicated. It wasn't any kind of obsessive, strict regime at the time. It was just kind of normal food that your great-grandparents would have, recognised and eaten, instead of all of the pre-packaged rubbish that we would, get from the supermarket, which was considered normal for my generation. But I became very obsessive about the food side of things. So it was, if I got food perfect, I would heal my body and my life would be okay. And I took it way too far. I was like obsessed about food in every situation. When you're on the road and you have children and you do all kinds of things in your life, it can be difficult to be 100% organic, paleo, all of these different things, and I became obsessed. So I realized that I needed to include movement, mind, body, spirit kind of stuff, so spirituality, and the essential oils came into my life and really were the catalyst to a lot of really positive change, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and funnily enough, financially. So that was the major, major turning point for me. Essential oils came into my life, and to be honest, I brushed them to the side and put them on the shelf for a couple of weeks. Someone had sent me some samples that follows me on Facebook, and I really thought they were kind of smelly hippie rubbish that you might burn in an oil burner or use in massage. And I didn't understand, when you're using really pure, indigenously sourced, amazing quality essential oils, that they had physical, emotional, spiritual, therapeutic value, and they could be used in so many ways to replace all my toxic household and personal care products, to support, my digestive system, my hormones, my skin, my children in many different ways, my sleep, my anxious feelings. And so they were just extremely life-changing for me, and I knew that I had to share them with my community because, they're always looking for natural alternatives and to enhance their wellness.